whole universe. So with that, I'm going to turn the word. Then I'm going to turn the meeting over to our toastmaster of the day, Martha. You did a great job of stressing on that.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Let's wake up. Holiday weekend. I'm so excited that we all made it here, and all the emails were great. I got all these emails coming at me, and I somehow organized it all. And we are going to pull this meeting off today. So let's get excited. The first thing I wanted to talk about is I need a bulletin writer for the day. It was Melissa, but she's not here, so do we have a volunteer for a bulletin writer? I have an outline for you. All right, thanks, Kate. Thank you. So Thanksgiving. Sometimes, when I was younger, when I thought about Thanksgiving, we had a huge soccer tournament that weekend. So we ate on Thanksgiving, and then it was just all about the soccer tournament the following day. And so now that I'm getting older, I'm in this weird transition period where it's like, do I start cooking? What's going on with family dynamics? So this year, so the last couple of years we've had Thanksgiving catered, but this is the first year where I will actually be cooking a side dish. So I'm making the sweet potatoes, so I'm getting a little nervous about it, but we'll see how they turn out. They're just sweet potatoes, I make them all the time, so it shouldn't be too hard. So I wanted,
Love me.
So I wanted to first start out with the awards of the day. And first, let's start with the Odd Bell. And then Tony, you won the Odd Bell. I came in a close second last week, but you won it. So can you go over it? Thank you.
Odd Bell is something you really don't want, but you get it because I have a habit of saying ahs and likes, and I'm trying to break it. I think maybe by another month or so I'll be cured. But I got it last time and the time before.
Fun fact about Thanksgiving, that the woman who actually is the author of the nursery rhyme, I Had a Little Lamb, actually was the one she was an American magazine editor, and she persuaded Abraham Lincoln to declare Thanksgiving a national holiday. So I thought that was a weird fun fact. I had no idea about that. So, on to the next award, the Boner Badge. John? Yeah.
This is an award you really don't want to win. You only win it if you do something that's either dumb or inappropriate, or just careless. Sometimes mispronouncing somebody's name or calling somebody by the wrong name. I'm trying not to win this award.
Hot Air Award. Tom, will you go over this for me? Yep.
Just shove a piece of bacon in there.
I'm sorry.
Hot Air Award, once again, another one you don't want to win. It indicates that you've gone on and on, spoken too much, exceeded your time. So you want to try to stay within bounds and not get the Hot Air Award.
Thank you. And Mike, would you like to go over the Blah Bell?
Blah Bell can be given to anything, whether it be a person, a thing, a squeaky floor, music, people in the kitchen making noise. So the Blah Bell, it's not uncommon to give it to, I think more common than not, it probably goes to something other than a person. So that's what the Blah Bell is.
basically the whitewash award is awarded to someone who's given an evaluation or feedback for an individual, and they don't really give them something to critique or to kind of give them some tips and tricks about how to be better. So I know that sometimes we have speakers that are really good, and do your best to find something that they can improve on.
Thank you. Greg, would you like to go over your duties as timer?
Certainly. Larry Donathan put together this box and this machine. We're eternally grateful for his work. And if it ever breaks, we need to call him and complain. The warranty is a lifetime warranty. I will time cable topics at 1 minute. You'll hear a buzzer at the minute. I time speeches. Everybody 5 to 7? Okay. 5 to 7 it is. Green light at 5. Amber at 6. Red at 7. Buzzer at 7:30. Please stay within time. And depending on how the evaluation is, I'll either buzz you or turn on the light if I don't like what you're saying. No. It's more of a, try and get it done in at least 2 minutes. Otherwise you get the red light and something, a hook to get you off the stage.
Pilgrim leader Governor William Bradford organized the first Thanksgiving feast in 1621, and he invited the neighboring Indians to feast, and I can't not pronounce the name Wampa. I can't pronounce the name. If anyone knows how to pronounce it, but the first Thanksgiving lasted 3 days, and the food that was thought to be there it was actually lobster, rabbit, chicken, fish, beans, onions, leeks, dried fruits, maple syrup, honey, a lot of food, radishes, cabbage. So mashed potatoes, pumpkin pies, corn on the cob, and cranberries were not present at the first Thanksgiving feast. And the pilgrims didn't use forks, they used spoons, knives, and their fingers to eat. Tony, would you go over your duties as grammarian and video operator? Can you explain that?
Thank you very much. The word for the day, I was going to use allude because somebody had an idea, but I like this one better. It is spoken like exasperate, make things worse. You know, something that was bad, make it even worse. So like a forest fire was exasperated by lack of rain, etc., etc. First used in 1660. I was looking at it. Can you believe it? That's a long time ago. And then I was able to put this video, and I think, were you able to see it finally? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can, put a password on it, but everything seemed pretty good. And it's very easy to do. So if there's anything I should not do or should do better, please let me know. All right, thank you.
Oh, and then Tony, did you have a joke today?
Oh, yeah.
You were supposed to go first.
Yeah, should I just go ahead and do it? I think I wrote one down, say, how do you, I like beer, I like good drinks, and lately my doctor tells me I gotta drink red wine. You know how it is. So I said, how do you make wine taste better in 20 minutes? You force yourself to drink it for 20 minutes. And then you did better.
Okay, then I would like to turn the meeting over to Kate McGee to go over our table topics for the day. Please welcome Kate.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Okay, first of all, who are our speakers today? 2, 3. Do you wish to participate in table topics?
Fine by me.
Sure. I'm gonna pick on someone that no one has picked on for a little bit, and that's gonna be Victor. Talk about using the word of the day, exacerbate, the best Thanksgiving ever.
Wow. What's the word, oxymoron, or is there something going on here? Thanksgiving being a good event and the word of the day. It seems inappropriate for Thanksgiving.
That's why I picked on you.
This is a hard one. I know my best Thanksgivings were always when we were young. The family revolved around my mother. She was the cook. All the relatives would come over. We'd fill the house, but tons of food, tons of laughter. There was, I'm trying to work into the word here. One thing I did learn though, we grew up, she always made the candied sweet potatoes. I'm not sure if that's how you're making them. With the marshmallows and the raisins and all that. I grew up thinking I hated sweet potatoes. They were just, oh, man, they're just way too sweet. And just, the marshmallow, sweet potatoes are sweet enough, that's why they call them sweet potatoes. Then you put marshmallows and all that on, that just exacerbates the problem. Now though, I've learned that without all that garbage on top, sweet potatoes are fantastic. You bake them and eat them.
That was a good description, Victor. Now I'm going to go to Mark and hope that you can think back, since you're younger than the rest of us, about the most memorable Thanksgiving school project you were in.
The most memorable. I think the most memorable, I don't know about projects. I know you would make your hand and then you would draw out, you would outline the hand and then you'd make the turkey out of it. And then you would exasperate the turkey and draw it and exasperate. Sorry. And also, when I was younger, one of the things that we did when we were in grade school was the turkey trot. And that was always a fun event that my parents would come to, or my mom, because my dad was working, but my mom would come to. And you would think it was so far. You would train for this big old run, and it's basically just a little run around the school. If you looked at it now, it's probably like nothing. It's probably not even a mile, but when you're younger and you have those little legs, you think you're going so far. And then we would eat afterwards and have breakfast or lunch, and it was a fun event, and it was something that I looked forward to every year during this time.
Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to decide. And I'm going to pick you, and I'm going to award myself a moment because I just said that one time. I was so embarrassed. Mike, worst Thanksgiving ever.
That's a tough one. I don't know if I've ever had a bad Thanksgiving. Just all the food and family and friends, and of course the long weekend. It's kind of hard to say that there's ever been a bad Thanksgiving.
No family fights?
No, not really. But I guess I can just roll into the best Thanksgiving ever, because I can honestly say I've never had a bad Thanksgiving. But the best Thanksgiving we've ever had was we went on a deer hunt down in Chiricahuas, and there was a group of us, probably 6 of us. We went down the night before Thanksgiving, and the day after Thanksgiving was opening day, so we actually had Thanksgiving dinner in camp, and it was awesome. There was no exasperation of any kind on that trip. But it was just a ton of fun. We cooked the turkey in camp, we smoked it in camp, we brought some pre-made mashed potatoes and gravy, and listened to football on the satellite radio. It was by far the best Thanksgiving.
There's some serious cooks in your...
Lots of pre-made things.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to ask John to talk to us about Thanksgiving in Mexico or in other countries.
I've never actually celebrated Thanksgiving in Mexico, but I think if it did, it would be a lot like in the United States, that The thing that's exacerbated in a positive way in Mexico is family, and it really struck me that in big families, there's always conflicts that are going on and people that aren't speaking to each other, but yet when it's a holiday, a fiesta day, or a family get together, those things are just set aside and they're set outside the door, and for a brief period of time, everybody gets along and they're able to deal with each other. And I've always sort of marveled at that, and I thought at first there was no conflict, and then I realized it's there. There's a peace treaty on events like, not necessarily Thanksgiving, but Christmas and Easter and other events, and that's something that in our society is exacerbated. We tend to carry our grudges with us all the time and have difficulty setting them aside to, even for something like Thanksgiving.
Excellent. Okay, Larry, can I pick on you?
Sure.
Favorite dish?
I'm sorry?
Favorite dish?
Favorite dish. Well, let me say, first of all, if there's not a town in Arizona named that exacerbate, there should be. Now, most people, when they go to eat the Thanksgiving dinner, they look for the turkey and the mashed potatoes and the yams, and I go for the fruit salad, and especially the fruit salad that has all of the coconut and the sweet, what's it, ambrosia, I think they call it. And they can leave all the rest of the stuff, the ambrosia, I love it. But fruit salad, actually, I need to stay with fruit and vegetables and things like that, as I have, at 40, the Donathan curse kicks in, and I went from slim to fat, you know. I've lost probably 200 pounds of Weight Watchers, you know. So I go to Weight Watchers and I lose 30 pounds and I quit going and I gain it back, so I go back to Weight Watchers.
I'm going to try Tom on this, since Mike didn't answer. Worst Thanksgiving ever.
It's very easy for me to recall that. I went to graduate school for a brief year or so at University of Wisconsin, straight from Arizona State University, born, home, pretty much grew up here in town. Then went up to Madison, Wisconsin, which, I don't know, about, September 1st it snows and it just stays down the whole rest of it until April. And I was living in a dorm, so I had a roommate that I didn't know, except for a month or two. And so we stayed in town for Thanksgiving, and one of his friends from New York, he was from New Jersey, New York, he was going to University of Chicago, so he came up. And so the three of us guys sat in his uncle's house or something, and watched football and just wished that we were not there. Wished we were at home. So it kind of exacerbated the lack of family and friends and so on.
Do you have a melancholy side to it? Just wish I was sitting out there and have someone ask me about the worst Thanksgiving ever. Do you remember the scene from National Lampoon with the beautiful turkey on the table, and Chevy Chase starts to cut it, and it flies open, and it's this desiccated, incinerated mess. There's nothing left. It's just total, it just disintegrates into charcoal. That would be my I had a turkey like that. And thankfully I've never been able to recreate it. Or oh, can you talk to us about what is your favorite holiday? It can be any holiday, not just Thanksgiving.
I'd say my favorite holiday is probably, I think, Christmas. I think Christmas is one of the times where I know that Thanksgiving, a lot of times, with my family, people will go and celebrate with their extended families, whoever they're married into. They'll go do their own thing. But I feel like for Christmas, everyone tries to come together, and we usually have like from 50 to 100 family members all get together, and we just, everybody brings their presents, and it's really weird to see like stacks and stacks of presents and just having the little kids go wild. But as far as an exacerbated gift for my favorite holiday, it would probably be I think I'm gonna win this one. Probably a pair of shoes. A pair of shoes that I actually really wanted them, but they turned out not to be the best pair of shoes.
Oh,
Okay. Nice job, Bo, especially because we've gone with it. Okay, Mr. Greg,
yes.
correlation between Thanksgiving and sports.
Sports. Oh, yeah. Tapas.
Well, there is a definite correlation, and for years, there was a wonderful college football game. It seemed like University of Nebraska played every Thanksgiving for years and had a good rivalry game. And it was a lot of fun, especially for those of us that hated the University of Nebraska.
Yes.
So you could root against them. But it was constantly a family football game, and friends football games would dominate things. And we have played ever since I can remember. We've had a family football game, and I have also participated in football tournaments that usually occur the Saturday after. It got exacerbated when I continued to be the quarterback past my prime. Let's leave it at that.
So what position do you play now?
Well, that's a good question, but I probably will sit the bench this time because with Thanksgiving at our house and my wife claiming that I am really not keeping up on all the duties that are there before me, I may not be able to participate for the first time ever. We'll see how it goes.
You were worried about hot air territory, but you left us hanging. So I had to find out, okay, what's he do now if he's not quarterback? Tony,
Yes.
talk to us about a family tradition around Thanksgiving.
Around Thanksgiving,
that your family has.
the kids come home and bring their friends or their girlfriends or whatever. I have 2 boys. That's just so much fun. I always look forward to it. And the games, the football games, where we all, we just eat and watch games and end up going to one or two of these NBA basketball games. It's just amazing. It's a great time. Did that answer your question? And the exasperation part, it is not to do with Thanksgiving. It's just done to riots in Ferguson. I mean, they made things worse. I mean, give me a break. That's very exasperating. I've been listening to it. But thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We got 15 more seconds.
I have 15 more seconds?
Well, we're 10 now.
What do I say?
So you start to sing a song.
Over my head. That's a Hindi song.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get up there and put sentences together that make sense and that people might possibly consider listening to.
I know.
For 1 minute. It can seem like 3 hours. But you all have been wonderful table topics participants. Who is the grammarian today?
Let's come.
Tony, who used the word of the day? Did you happen to keep track of that? Or can we
I
stop?
did. Everybody used it. I actually did.
I don't know if I used it correctly.
Yeah, I thought you mispronounced it.
Well, misapplied it also.
So misused it.
Mr. Grammarian.
Well, Tony used the wrong word because he was talking about being exasperated as opposed to exacerbated. And they're
That's right. I
radically
did.
different.
You're right.
And so he got himself twisted on that
I
one.
sure did.
And we'll give him credit for getting 3 of the syllables close to the mark.
Right, but then he inflicted it on others, because everybody else was saying exasperated.
I know.
And
See?
It is actually, that confused me. You're right.
And they're very close.
They are,
Exasperated
yeah.
means to just get fed up with, like
Right,
when
right,
your
right.
kid does "Ugh," for the 18th time.
Now you, clearly you learned something with this word.
When you get exasperated, it exacerbates a bad situation.
Very good.
So, that
Very
being said, would you please vote for your favorite
Okay.
Toastmaster table topic and pass it down to our timer, Greg. And with that, I'll welcome back the wonderful Toastmaster of the day, Martha.
Did you guys know turkeys have heart attacks? Those poor little things. The U.S. States Air Force was doing test runs and breaking the sound barrier, and nearby turkeys dropped and had heart attacks. So think about that while you're feasting on Thursday. And in the 18th century, Congress voted between the bald eagle and the turkey to represent the national symbol of pride, and the poor turkey lost by one single congressional vote. So we could be the turkeys. The turkeys of pride. So I did want to turn the meeting over to the speeches. And Tom is our first. Actually, let's go over, we have, Bo, do you want to go over the evaluators?
Yeah. Currently I have John Shaw evaluating, okay, let's write down the names of the evaluators. I have John evaluating speaker
Tom.
number 1.
Yep.
Tom,
Tom, here we go.
and then Kate evaluating Roger? Roger's in here somewhere.
No,
Mike.
Mike. And I have an Alan scheduled. Who's, okay, Victor. So you'll be evaluating
Larry.
Larry.
Larry. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Tom has been a Toastmaster for several years. Today he will speak about Saturday morning and at the car dealer. Please welcome Tom.
Thank you. So my speech has nothing to do with Thanksgiving. Okay, let's set that straight right away. Okay, so it's Saturday morning. I'm sitting at the car dealership, waiting for the regular maintenance on my car to be done. I can't really leave because they have my car. So I can't run errands or anything. So despite it being a rare instance where I can actually enjoy quiet and enjoy a chance to reflect, I feel a little antsy. I have my phone, so I check my emails and maybe actually answer a few of them. I check a few websites on the phone. I put the phone down and read my weekend edition of the Wall Street Journal, which I don't always get to read. I look at my calendar for next week's meetings and events. And I also sitting there thinking and worrying about the plumbing disaster that we had at our office last week. So I'm thinking about all those. So then I pull out a paper tablet out of my man purse, which is also my briefcase, and begin to think about what I'm going to talk about today. So I start jotting ideas down. And two things kind of creep into my brain. First of all, it's hard to turn off busyness. I can do it sort of, but it's kind of difficult. I hear the TV going in the background of the dealership waiting room, and I hear people chattering about what the weather's like and what the weather's like back home, that sort of thing. So I actually feel a little bit sad that, I really hate to be overly busy. It's been my life of late. And I find that I tend to, when I'm overly busy, tend to forget things. so I always have lists going around. I tend to not recognize the good things that are going on around me and slip into worrying more about the problems that are getting bigger in my brain. I tend to not notice people's moods. And my wife reminds me of that all the time. And when I'm too wrapped up in being a bit too busy. So I think at this point I'm thinking I need to learn to live without this stimulus that's going on around me. And enjoy and avoid the machines that are around us. And try to enjoy life a little bit more in the quiet times. Then the second thing I realized, that I'm in a car dealership. A dealership is a place that's built on machines of the modern world cars. Not a quiet place for quiet reflection and savoring a quiet moment. Frankly, I like new cars. I drive a very sensible, a sensible driver. Sensible car, a Hyundai Accent, which is the lowest in the Hyundai line. Gets reasonably good mileage. I haven't had a lot of trouble with it. So I sit there thinking, but look at all these new and fancier cars in the showroom, and it's a Hyundai dealer, you know? So I walk around looking at the new cars. I walk outside. They look all so clean and nice and comfortable. And I think, I would really like to have one of those cars. And then I also look across the parking lot, and there's the Honda dealer right over there. So maybe I should walk over there and check out the Hondas. So I sit here imagining that I need a newer car. So I come to my senses and finally, do I really need a new car? My current car rides well. A little noisy at times, you know, it's the lowest end, but it's pretty reliable. So do I really want to start paying $500 a month for a new car? Maybe that would be not such a bigger car for $500 a month. No. So I calm down, try to imagine enjoying quiet times and trying to resist the lure of the showroom and the siren call of all those TV commercials for the autos that we see all the time. Thank goodness the political commercials are over. So now we're back to cars. I ponder, why do I think of all this right now? Because I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck. They have my car. I'm stuck here until they're done with their maintenance. And of course, having to replace the brakes in the back, which makes it a $500 visit. But I think I have learned a lesson. We need to allow ourselves to have some quiet time, even when we're way too busy. Maybe we even need to turn off that TV with the lure of those car commercials and learn to enjoy quiet time without all these machines providing the stimulus that will lure us away from the quiet time. Thank you.
One time I signed up for a yoga class, and it actually ended up being, I signed up for the wrong one, and it was a meditation class. And so I was ready to do yoga, and then when I get there, this entire time I'm like, I could not shut my brain off. And I'm like antsy, and they're telling me to stand still, and I'm like, my feet are in the air. I didn't know what was going on. I like wanted to laugh because I wasn't expecting this class. If I knew what I was expecting, then it would have helped a little bit, but it was so hard. And so I understand that sometimes you need to shut down. And I even read a blog post the other day about meditation, so I've been kind of thinking maybe I should get into it. I don't know though. Maybe just a little bit of quiet time will be good enough. But there are benefits of it, so. And why doesn't the turkey eat on Thanksgiving? Because he's always stuffed. Come on, that was an easy one, guys.
So scientific.
And then why does the pilgrim's pants keep falling down? Because his belt buckle's on his head. doing all these Thanksgiving jokes.
You must have Googled for those.
Yeah, I did, definitely, for sure. So I'll bring those to the kids' table this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Mike is here, and he's our second speaker, and I'm so excited to have you back. I haven't seen you in a while, so we miss you. Your speeches are always really entertaining. Today, Mike's speech is, what's a hunting trip without some snoring?
Snoring.
Snoring, okay. Please welcome Mike.
So come this time this Friday, it will be opening day of my bull elk hunt in northern Arizona. Which, if you guys don't know, it's really tough to get a bull tag in Arizona. It's not uncommon to wait 10, even 15 years to get a bull tag. So it's always really exciting when you can get a bull tag. You can go cow elk hunting fairly often, but of course to go after the antlers, you have to wait a really long time and be patient to do it. I mean, some people will hunt bull elk in Arizona 3 times their whole lives, and they're avid hunters. They just don't get the opportunity. So anyway, I drew the tag back in the spring of this year, so I've known all year that this weekend was coming, and I've been kind of preparing for it, planning for it. So now it's here, and I'm excited. Well, last weekend I got a reminder, an unfortunate reminder, of what it's like to go on hunting trips with my dad. He's going with us, and I love having him along. He's a ton of fun, but he snores like a chainsaw. So we're on the scouting trip, and we're staying in 2 cabins on this property for the hunt, which thank goodness for that, because I ought to be willing to sleep on the floor of the other one rather than sleep in the same one as him. But we stayed in the 1 cabin last weekend for a night for the scouting trip. And of course I wake up at midnight or whatever it is to him just snoring at his loud. I mean, he's one of those snores where he wakes himself up every, must be 10 minutes. And so I'm sitting there listening to him. During a hunt I'd probably be pretty upset because I know I have to get up early in the morning and then hike all day long and work my butt off. Well, the next morning I was able to sleep in, so I wasn't too concerned about it. So I'm sitting there listening to it, kind of laughing to myself, thinking about the previous hunts. And last year we had a deer hunt in the Chiricahuas, and we show up there. He went a night before to kind of reserve a camp, so we show up, and I pull into camp, and it's on my mind when I'm pulling into camp. Who's he sleeping with? Is he going to sleep in my tent? Because I have a canvas tent with a tent heater, so if it's 5 degrees outside, it's 70 degrees in the tent at night. So we pull up, and I see his little rickety tent set up on the side of this hill, and it's like at an angle, and the rain fly is half blown off. I'm thinking, oh man, he's climbing in tonight for sure. And he immediately starts complaining about the weather last night when we pull up. Oh, it froze my butt off. I'm so excited you guys are here. Did you bring a tent heater? Yeah, it has plenty of room. So of course he sleeps with us in the tent the next 2 nights, and I get maybe 2 hours of sleep combined. So after the second night, I tell him, I'm sleeping in your tent tonight. You can sleep in here. I'm sleeping in your tent. I'm gonna freeze my butt off, but I'm getting some sleep. So anyway, he ends up, I think, kind of getting his feelings hurt and said he had to have something to do back in town, so he left a day early. But I slept great that night. So then I was thinking, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I had an elk tag in Young. Same thing, it was a cow tag though, and it was me and a friend of mine. Since it was in Young, we decided to get a hotel room in downtown Young, and there's a little bar and grill there. We can eat at the restaurant. We don't have to pack really anything. No tents, and be able to shower every night, have the coffee pot going in the morning, get ready in the warmth. And of course my dad, oh man, that'd be fun. I'll go up with you guys. All right, and go ahead. So the first night we're in the hotel room, and I can hear him. He bought this new cot. He's all excited about it. It's 2 queen beds, and then he put his cot on the floor. So I can hear him fidgeting, and he's not sleeping because I don't hear him snoring. And so I kind of peek up there, and I see him standing up, screwing with his cot, and he'll lay back down, and then groan a little bit, move some more, and after a while, I hear the cot just collapse. The devices that keep the head end at a certain position gave way, so it falls down. So I'm like, well, just climb in bed. It's queen bed. I'll scoot over. Oh, good, thanks. climbs in bed. 5 minutes later, he's snoring up a storm. No sleep for me the rest of the night. Maybe, again, 2 hours the next 2 nights. So all that's racing through my mind last weekend when we were on that scouting trip, because our hunt's coming up this weekend, and we're planning on staying up there. I took a whole week off. It starts this Friday, goes to the next Thursday. So it's going to be a lot of work, a lot of hiking. It's going to be tiring, exhausting, and I'm going to need my sleep. So I've been kind of game planning on how I'm going to go about getting in a cabin that, of course, he is not in. And so a wrench got thrown into it. I had it all figured out. It was going to be easy. It was going to be me and whatever cabin he wasn't in, and it was going to work. But Saturday, the owner of the property, the wife, and her daughter and son-in-law are coming up to stay at night, which is very cool because their son is hunting with us. But now they're going to stay in a cabin. So I don't know if they want their alone time, and I might have to be forced into sleeping in the same cabin as my old man for a night. But very, very terrifying. And every time I go hunting now, it's a major concern of mine. So I think I'll just start putting in for September hunts or October hunts to avoid the cold.
Thank you. I've been learning a lot about hunting, more than I ever thought I would, from Mike. And the other guy in our office, he also does the draw and stuff like that. I never knew anything about that. I thought you had to wait and draw. It's fun, it's exciting. Larry Jonathan is a past Sunrise member, and now he's still on the inactive list. But he's here today to entertain us in his speech called Two Tough Towns. Please welcome Larry.
Thank you. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, ask anybody to name the toughest town in Arizona, and they're going to say Tombstone. And why not? With the movies about the gunfight, the OK Corral, names like Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, a cemetery named Boot Hill that has a tombstone that says, "Here lies Lester Moore, 4 shots from a 44, no less, no more." Well, that's good. But there was one man that didn't get the recognition that I think he should have, and that was Texas John Slaughter, sheriff of Cochise County. John was not a big man. He only stood at 5'6", usually dressed in a black suit, wore a spade beard, carried an ivory handle 44. He had the habit of prefixing a statement with, "I say, I say." John was a no-nonsense lawman. If there was somebody hanging around Tombstone, living pretty well, with no visible means of support, he was an undesirable. And John had a unique way of getting rid of undesirables. He walked up to him, pulled out his 44, and he says, "I say, I say, you got 12 hours. Holstered his pistol and walked away. But they knew what he meant. They had 12 hours to get out of town, or they'd have to fight John. Most of them had the good sense to leave town. There was a politician named Juan Soto, and he was playing both sides of the law. There were rustling, cattle rustling, there were stage holdups and things going on, and Juan Soto was behind all of that. So John did his investigation, got the evidence he needed, got him indicted, took him to trial, and Juan bought off the jury and was acquitted. So John saddled up, rode out to his house, and waited. When Juan come riding up, John stepped out, pulled his 44, and he said, I say, Juan, you got 12 hours. Holstered his pistol. Soto said, you wouldn't kill me, John, they'd hang you. John said, that might happen, but be damn little comfort to you where you'll be. You got 12 hours. So Soto packed up and he left town. But he only went to Galeyville, which doesn't exist now, but in those days, it was about 20 miles out of Tombstone. And the rustling and the robberies went on. So John saddled up, rode over to Galeyville, found the house where Soto was. He went up and knocked on the door. Juan answered the door. John says, I say one, you didn't go far enough, you got 12 hours. So Soto packed up and left. Now some say he went to San Diego, but they don't really know, but he never came back to Tombstone. There was a bandit in Mexico named Geronimo, and things were getting pretty hot for him down in Mexico, so he came north of the border, was plying his trade in Cochise County. John found out where he was living. It was a place called Tent Town, just outside of Tombstone. So John got his deputy, he went out to Tent Town, and he says to his deputy, he says, I say, you go around front, identify yourself, and you yell for Geronimo to come out and surrender. So I'll take the shotgun, I'll go around back. He says, now when you yell for him to come out, he's going to run out the back, and when he does, I'll kill him. I mean, simple plan. Right? Well, they put the plan into action. Deputy went around front, John went around back. Deputy yelled for Geronimo to come out, and just as they figured, here comes the bandit running out the back of the tent. John pulled down that 12-gauge shotgun, fired both barrels. But the instant before he pulled the trigger, the bandit tripped over a tent rope, fell flat on his face, and John missed. Before he could reload, that bandit was on a horse, and he was hightailing it for Mexico. Well, there's, dozens of stories like that I could tell. But there was another town that very few people have ever heard about. If you go a little south of Casa Grande, and a little bit to the east, you'll find the town of Eloy. Now, back in those days before the development of the mechanical cotton picker, the itinerant workers that came to Eloy to pick cotton, red, white, black, and yellow, but they all had one thing in common. They were mean. There were gunfights, fist fights, knife fights every day. Why, it was so bad in Eloy during the cotton picking season that if you went into a bar, they'd check you to see if you had a gun. If you didn't have one, they'd give you one. Eloy in those days was just a place that you avoided. You didn't go there unless you absolutely had to. Well, a friend of mine named Bob Hamilton was born in Oklahoma, but he grew up in Arizona. In later years, he moved back to Oklahoma for a while. Well, while he was there was an old man down the road who wanted to sell a horse. But both seller and buyer were illiterate. So they came up and they asked Bob to make out a bill of sale for him. And Bob told me, he said, I don't know anything about that. He says, took a piece of paper and I described the horse, named the seller, the buyer, the price, and had him sign it. And for some reason, the old guy that was selling the horse, got the notion that Bob was trying to cheat him. So he was going around town saying, well, I see that Bob Hamilton, I'm going to beat him up. Well, Bob said, I don't have any trouble with the old man. He said, I just avoided him, stayed out of his way. And he said, we went on about 2 weeks, and a friend came up, he said, well, Bob, you don't have to worry about the old man anymore. I said, well, why is that? He said, when he found out you were from Arizona, he just about had a stroke. Why, he said, if I'd have known that boy was from Arizona, I'd have never said those things about him. The next time I see Bob Hamilton, I'm going to apologize and buy him a drink. And he said, well, how was that? He said, well, in 1955, the old man went out to Eloy, Arizona to pick cotton. They scared him so bad that he only stayed 2 days and he'd come back home to Oklahoma. And to this day, he's convinced that everybody from Arizona is as mean as they were in Eloy. So there you have it. 2 towns. Tombstone, where they had a gunfight at the OK Corral, which, by the way, did not take place at the OK Corral. Or Eloy during the cotton picking season. 2 tough towns. Which one was toughest? Take your choice. Madam Postman.
Thank you. Thanks, Larry. Thanks for coming in and entertaining us. So there are a lot of things to be grateful this Thanksgiving. Some of the things that came across my mind are a roof over my head, plenty of drinkable water, I don't have to go hungry, access to the internet, my friends, my family, my health, and the fact that I can give back as well. I found out that Safeway's giving, I think if you spend over $100, they give you a free turkey. And so I found that out after I spent it. I found my receipts. I'm going to take it over there and donate the free turkey that I get. And other things that I'm grateful for are online shopping, so I don't have to go over to the mall and fight for a parking spot, and elastic waistbands. Something that I really enjoy after I'm stuffing my face. Does anyone want to share some of the things that they're grateful for this year? Anyone? Family? Victor?
You know, actually with my wife down in Dominican, we take a lot of things for granted. She's helping a nurse at a orphanage down there. They have power for 1 hour a day. I don't know how you live with power 1 hour a day. I can't comprehend that in this day and age, but now it's normal.
So India, every 4 hours, it goes away for an hour. New Delhi, so many people.
I lived without power for a year and a half on the Sunbus Islands in Panama, and I didn't miss power. It was way more comfortable just to live not life naturally, to tell you the truth. You just got used to the fact that nighttime was nighttime. Yeah. You could have a kerosene lamp, and just not having the extras made you deal with the realities of the world as it is.
As long as they have a hot water heater.
When you're down in the tropical areas,
I know.
it's the cold water is not a horrible issue.
Does anyone else like to share? No? I would like to welcome Bo, our Chief Evaluator, to the lectern.
I need to give a timer's report.
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry. Timer's report, please.
Certainly. All speakers are eligible. Tom spoke for 5 minutes, 41 seconds. Mike spoke for 5 minutes, 45 seconds. Larry spoke for 7 minutes, 5 seconds.
Perfect. Thank you, Greg. Okay, and now please welcome Bo to the lectern.
Wow, those are some great speeches from dealerships to hunting to the 2 toughest towns in Arizona.
Please vote, everybody.
So, I'm a little confused on this position, so bear with me. If I do something incorrectly, just let me know. I think the first person that's going to do the evaluation for Tom is going to be John, so we'll have John come up here and evaluate Tom.
Yeah.
Tom's speech, in my mind, set the bar pretty high for me, and it's what the kind of thing that I aspire to. It really was. And I'm not just blowing smoke. I have some specifics, and there are areas that I need to work on. His eye contact was excellent. I felt like when he looked around the room, he was actually looking at, not as I do at the floor or at somebody's tie, but looking at the person. The pace was really good in that everybody speaks differently. Some of us speak faster, slower. His pace was really clear. It was just good and solid. I liked the use of phrases like "man first." Creeped into my brain. In good gestures, at one point he mentioned that he was thinking about something, he pointed to his head. And I thought that was really good. So I enjoyed the speech a lot. As I said, I feel like it sets the bar high for me and others. I do have a couple of things. I'm not sure why you use notes. Obviously didn't need them. And looking down at the notes just makes the audience conscious that you do have notes. The other thing is that was not quite sure where the speech was going. It seemed like it wandered off topic a little bit. And then at the end came back to the idea of quiet time. But I'm not sure that I felt like it was a sort of a curvy path, and it could have been more direct, but it was a wonderful speech.
Tom, I guess a few things that I noticed that I know that your speech was great. I really enjoyed the whole car dealership. I think a lot of us can relate to sitting there for an oil change and kind of tend to wander off and start having that wistful eye. And when you started talking about simplicity, lately I've been Googling a lot of things on simplicity. So this morning, for example, as I was packing for the weekend, I was like, you know what would be a lot easier if I made my wardrobe a lot simpler. So I went through this. It was pretty dramatic. 5 this morning. I'm like, I'm gonna go through my closet, figure out what clothes I haven't worn this whole year. So I just started taking stuff and I just put it in a trash bag. I was like, I'm gonna donate this. So I have like a whole bag in my car that clothes that I'm just gonna donate. Then after that, it took like 5 minutes to pack for the week. So, but as far as I think you're vocal. Maybe if you were a little more, I'm not sure what the word is, but projecting would be good, and eye contact, because I know that you knew your story pretty well. I felt like just a little more around the room would be great. So thank you. Next, we're gonna have Kate evaluate Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters. Mike, I find it interesting, 3 great speeches today and 2 storytellers sitting next to each other. Knowing that Mr. Donathan is a speech contest winner, international speech contest winner, that's a good style or model to emulate. I think from a speech viewpoint, your speeches are entertaining. They are fun to listen to. You have a wonderful speaking voice. It's just very melodic and such a cheerful, happy disposition. Just simple guy, and you love hunting. And there's an awful lot of good going on when you step up to the podium and start. It's just all there for you. You needed to put a note in your introduction that you didn't want the podium because that created a break. Lectern. Second time. That you didn't want the lectern, so that created a break that didn't need to be there. And your hand gestures, you did a lot of steepling and a lot of fiddling. I'm struggling with learning what to do with my hands when I don't have this to hang on to. So good on you for trying. That needs to be something you work on. There is a time and a place for colloquialisms. I've noted before that you don't finish out your INGs, and you did a really good job of doing that this time around while telling this fun, folksy story. But you interjected some things like working my butt off, screwing around with the cot, where you can get away with colloquialisms, but it really, really has to fit. He used a colloquialism, like get the hell out of town, that actually fit with the class and demeanor of the speech. Last comment would be a stronger conclusion. Clearly, you love your dad. Clearly, he loves you. He wants to be with you. But instead of going to that place and saying, well, which your title indicated, what's hunting without snoring? You pretty much got stuck in the logistical planning to avoid being around him. I don't think you're getting it out of it this time either, but you clearly love him and you want him there. Great.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, Mike, I actually might win the whitewash award for this because I didn't know anything except that you were very projected. Not projected. Is it the word? Loud.
Project
You project really well, and you're very charismatic, and it was good just to really listen to your story. So next, I'd like to invite Mr. Victor to evaluate Larry.
Larry, it's nice to again hear you back and hear you speak. It was great imparting of knowledge that you obviously know the Arizona history very well. I'm a lifelong, I grew up here, I was born here. I didn't know that history of Eloy. That's really interesting to me. So, you know, great storytelling style. I love the way that you brought it to the end with the, brought back the two-town concept. That's just a really good technique that we all need to remember when you're giving the speech, to tie it back in at the end. And that was very strong. There's not a whole lot that I can critique. You did seem nervous to me. You were playing with your watch a lot. And I don't know, maybe that's just because you haven't been up in front in a long time. I did also notice that your gestures, you're very tight talker. Even when you did the I say, get out of town. It wasn't like this, it was like, say, you can't see me behind the podium. I say, get out of town. I don't know, this was more, you were just very close in all your things, and I'm not sure what that was, but, so at the risk of winning the whitewash, those were the only two things that I really saw much of. And that shows though the polish that we can all get with the practice, so, something we can all aspire to.
Thank you, Victor. Larry, I really enjoyed your speech. It was, first I was like, what are the two toughest towns in Arizona? So it got me thinking, and then it got me thinking about Eloy, because I actually spent a whole summer in Eloy. It was my first summer out of school. Good, I'm glad you did that. So, I found myself. I spent my first summer out of school in Eloy. I was doing we renovated a elementary school there, and I remember driving down there every summer, and I was like, I didn't know it was one of the toughest towns that I'll think back on. So, thank you, and I think let's vote on the best evaluator for the. So if you just pass your votes down, and then I get I'll evaluate the meeting. I think as far as the Toastmasters is doing a great job. I think the table topics went really well. I think it was good to really figure out the worst Thanksgiving or just things that were great. And I think the jokes today were awesome. And like the turkey, why is the turkey full? Just things like that. It's put a smile on a lot of our faces. So I think, yeah, overall, I think it was a great meeting. Am I supposed to evaluate now? Or was that?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. Thank you.
Good job.
Again, 3 great speeches. It was really entertaining, and thanks for the volunteers that showed up, because we had a lot of people moving around because of the holiday, and thank you again for stepping up and coming to entertain us for 5 to 7 minutes about random things like the car dealership or hunting or Eloy. The average turkey weighs, the average weight of a turkey purchased at Thanksgiving is 15 pounds. So again, going from the beginning, I've never cooked a turkey. I don't know how to cook a turkey. I've never picked up a turkey. So, but that's heavier than I thought. And this is kind of gross. The heaviest turkey ever raised was 86 pounds, about the size of a large dog. That is gross. I don't know if I would want that. And one of the other things that I'm grateful for is the setbacks that have formed me and made me stronger today. And again, my speeches and coming up here and talking and failing through a bunch of them, and then kind of going and making my speech and my demeanor stronger and more confident in Toastmasters. So thank you for that. And I'm trying to think. Does anyone else have anything to share? I'm running low on time, and I've only got facts, just random facts to share. Good? Anyone else? Okay.
Why do they serve hot beer in London? They have short of ice, right? Yeah, they don't have any ice or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do big beers.
Yeah.
So,
No,
after about a couple of them, you don't care.
Yeah.
My concept saying 20 minutes of
Yeah.
forced wine and a big jug of.
The funny thing about that is that they keep the beer down in the cellars,
Yeah.
and it gets cold. They bring it up before they serve it. They stick a hot poker in it because people are used to drinking warm beer.
I know.
Well, then you drink it faster.
And
probably.
it's short of ice. There's no ice machines, or they're getting better.
Or has it been a long time since I've been in English? So
Yeah.
So I usually sit at the kids' table, so hopefully again I sit at the kids' table, because I don't like sitting at the grown-up table, because then I have to listen to my uncle and my dad talk about politics, and I don't really want to listen to it. So I want to talk about movies and just random things, and just drink wine. So that's what I hopefully...
That's what they do at the kids' table?
Well, our kids' table, they're all over 21, except the little ones.
Ah, okay.
They're French.
Yeah, they're French. Yeah.
they don't talk at the kids' table anymore. They sit there and text each other.
That's another thing, yeah.
No, I actually had a girlfriend. I went out to dinner with her the other night, and I could not believe the fact that she was texting on her phone. It was like almost comical. How embarrassed, like how rude it was. So I know I put my phone down and I listen and I talk.
And I had to, because my wife put the alarm. I had to tell her how to turn the alarm off. I was fiddling, wasn't I?
Yes, you were good.
I have a suggestion for Tony and other people about the wine. I don't do this, but my wife does. She buys a pretty good bottle of wine and then she mixes it with lemonade.
Oh, that sounds good.
She likes it. It's like if we had to go buy a good bottle of wine and then she buys pink lemonade.
I know.
So if you're not a wine drinker, try it with lemonade.
I'm developing the taste.
In Australia, you can go into the bar there and ask for a sandy, and that is a glass of beer with lemonade in it.
Ah,
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Interesting.
did you have anything to say, Greg?
No.
Okay. I was hoping you would have some story to fill in these last 10 minutes for me. Okay. Well, everyone, thank you so much. I hope your turkey is moist and your stuffing is fluffy, and when you're done, you're nice and stuffy. Thank you.
You did a great job, Mark.
Yeah.
Can we get a grammarian's report and award the Abel? And I see Greg's class actually did it right.
I think Greg was counting the R's, right? Can you help me with that, Greg?
Yeah, I can do it. There's an obvious winner, so you can
Yes.
just say.
Bo, Mr. Bo. And everybody used the word, and I think I already gave you the yeah. Thanks, sir.
What do we have, any grammar, uses of the English language that were? Kate,
Was I supposed to keep track of
yeah,
that?
well, Kate said podium when she didn't need to. She
correct.
corrected herself.
All right, next time I'm the grammarian, I will keep track of that. But anybody else notice anything?
No, other than that everyone was using disaster, but
Yeah, confusing those two words together.
that was the only thing that I noticed.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any nominations for the enthusiasm award? John?
Yeah, I want to nominate Martha. She just really set a nice tone for the meeting.
I
I love
second.
the jokes and all that.
I second.
Okay, do we have any other nominations? All right, Martha it is. Hot air award. I think we avoided that today. Looks like everyone agrees with me, okay. Best functionary.
Martha again.
All right, do we have any other nominations? All right, Martha it is. Boner badge nominations. The Blobell. Nominations for that one. Oh, okay.
I'm going to pick on, once again, cell phones and technology.
I'm
And-
checking the time. So I'm sorry.
No, and people just being distracted. I think there was a legitimate reason
Alarm.
here.
I had to help my
Yeah.
wife.
and something,
Get the
I just wanna put it in everybody's mind.
Oh, it is, yeah. It's so good to just throw them, put them away.
But you can
Turn the
vote it
TV
down,
off,
but,
yeah.
but I'm just, I'm
You know, it's
determined.
something we need to be aware of
Yes, yes.
in this group and elsewhere. Any other nominations? All right, looks like it's cell phones. Okay, the winners. Best table topics. Have it go to John. Best evaluator. That would be Nate. Our best speaker, that would be Larry.
They changed the color.
Yeah. He's got a wall full of blues.
It's not gonna match. You just have to get another
You have to
wall.
keep coming back now.
There was an evil plot.
Okay. Any other comments on the meeting here? Greg?
I'd like to give a special award to Martha. She came in and said, "Is that your car out there with the interior light on?" And it was dark when we both got here. And I said, "You saved me a dead battery." And let's see, saved from a dead battery award to Martha.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any announcements of a general nature?
Well, I'll comment. Larry Donathan has won many contests, but he's not the international winner. That was Larry Emmett.
Oh, okay.
And
And
so,
Jeff Young?
yes, and so
Name sounds familiar.
Larry helped Larry Emmett get better, but
He's such a great speaker. I just enjoy so much. And putting him and Mike and their approaches together, that's
Very nice.
very complimentary.
by the by, Larry, I'm on Larry's email list, and he sent out something, I think it was Saturday, Friday or Saturday. It was just some chuckles, but it was about 20 little cartoons with little captions below them. They're probably the best collection that you could share, with family and friends, and it would be a great thing
Good
to
to see.
broadcast that out. And I could probably forward it on to whoever
Sounds good.
broadcasts everything else.
Yep.
Okay.
I had to chuckle Larry's discussion of Eloy. First of all, Eloy is famous for the Malone brothers, who played running back at Arizona State. One of them when I was there, but I think one of them a little bit Ben.
Art, Benny, and Jim.
Okay, well, they were great players, and they all came out of Eloy. But also, the tough town of Eloy now is was it Robeson Communities? As an active adult community there. And I just have to chuckle, the tough town, which is now the active adult community.
You don't wanna mess around with them old people. I can tell you that when I was 16, 81 was so far down the road. Now that I'm 81, 16 is right there. I chuckled when Martha made the comment when she was younger. One of the nice things about growing old are that the older ladies look pretty good to me now.
Man with the eye.
The thing that I liked about all three speakers have different styles. And there's different levels of experience and things. But Mike, they're all comfortable in their own skin. And that, I think, is really important as we develop our speaking, is to realize that we are who we are. And all three speakers were absolutely dead on in terms of who they are. And so if Mike or Tony would, in 5 years from now, are really good speakers, they'll be just like they are now, they'll just be themselves better.
That's pretty fair.
I think that's good.
I'd like to piggyback on that. Doris and I were married in 1959, First Christian Church, and they asked me if I would be an usher. I said, sure. Then they said, would you be a deacon? I said, well, yeah, I'd be a deacon. I'll just pass it. What I didn't know was that when you are center deacon, you have to give the offertory prayer. When I found out that I had to give the offertory prayer, I just about had a stroke. I wrote that prayer out. I practiced, I rehearsed. Came time, I went up front. It was like they'd thrown a 10 mil bag over me, tied it in a knot in the back, put a 2-4 in it, and wound it tight. To this day, I can't tell you if I said anything up there. He said I said a very nice prayer, but I don't know that I said anything.
I blacked out.
But it's like anything else. The more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah.
So if you're faithful to the club, you come every Tuesday morning, and you speak every opportunity you get, you're going to get better and better and better. And pretty soon you'll be like Greg over there. You just at the drop of the hat, you can take an idea. I've always liked these preachers that can take one line of scripture and talk for a half an hour.
I've never liked those.
Well, but say something.
And say something. Oh, okay.
I think
Story
that goes
teller,
though
yeah.
too, if you speak about what you know or what you're passionate about, and then just be yourself, you're gonna be at least okay. Right. Good. All right, any outside speaking?
I gave a presentation a week ago here at the University Club to a group I belong to, and turned out well. So that was an occasion to speak outside the club.
On Sunday, we had a fundraiser at Stars where I work. It was the fashion show where we had, I would say, models, professional models, and also
What did you model?
participants, our clients model. And of course, that's the highlight, is that they see themselves as, quote, normal people. We can do whatever they can do. So anyway, at the end, I hadn't read the script, but at the end, now Tom Avery's going to say a few things, and so luckily for Toastmasters, I winged it, and asked for money, and that was my role, so I did it.
Awesome.
Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you for Toastmasters.
We're running out of time here, so.
Thought for the week,
Thought for the week.
two options. Obviously, I say, you've got 12 hours. I can say, I say, you've got 12 hours to quit snoring. I say, you've got 12 hours to simplify. But I think I'll just leave it, you've got 12 hours.
Great. Real quick, I printed out this, and it's subject to changes, members come and go, and are on sabbaticals. I only print out 4 of them, but I'll email it. I'll attach it to an email. But if somebody wants a hard copy, this is the rest of the year, which you probably already have, and the first quarter of next year up till the end of March. But I wanted to go over next week real quick. Mike is going to be our Toastmaster.
And I'm hunting.
Yeah.
Brett will be hunting.
You could Skype us in.
Tell us how it's going.
Is there by
Best
chance
thing about
someone
those
like to
trips is they
step
can't
up
get any
at
service.
this point, so we're not hunting during the weekend or.
But when is it?
Next Tuesday, right? Here.
Gotta look.
Any chance we can get a volunteer today?
Is that the?
It would be the 2nd of December.
Second?
Yeah, I probably don't mind doing it, because I don't know what else I have.
Well, that's what I gotta check.
The evaluator's gonna be Martha. Dale is listed as our topic master.
Who are the speakers?
Bo is the speaker. Tom is the speaker. And we had Rod, but Rod is apparently on sabbatical again, so we're looking for a speaker also. So.
I can speak.
My wife hasn't told me what I'm gonna be doing, so I'll have to. I'll check it out. I'll let the Toastmaster know if they need one, maybe I can come in again.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put Martha down as our speaker for right now.
Oh, but I'm chief evaluator.
Well,
It's
it's
okay.
easier than
Yeah, we can
to
fill that one.
evaluate.
You evaluate yourself.
It's nice to have
high
time.
marks.
Yeah, if
Really
you're not
great.
speaking, it's really
Fabulous.
tell us ahead of time, because it is tough. We all have busy lives, and find out Monday night, oh, so-and-so isn't gonna be there, or even worse, show up Tuesday morning, and where are they?
Yeah.
So, just to be fair to other people, it's best to, we can
Which is-
schedule speakers as early as possible. so-
Martha did that really well, she hounded us,
Yeah.
and that's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
We'll be listed as evaluators, Tony, Roger, and Will. John will be the grammarian. Those are the ones that we in preparation, so.
Is there a meeting on the 23rd?
I would
I
vote
haven't scheduled,
no.
but probably.
Isn't
probably
the
won't.
club closed the last 2 weeks?
I'll
You did
ask,
this
I
club,
don't,
this club?
I don't know.
I think it is, as I recall, Christmas.
I'll ask.
And then also for scheduling, we have video as a position, but it looks like Tony.
Yeah, I can do it every
is-
time.
So I'm gonna, you can ignore that long line there for the time being. Just let us know if you're not gonna be available and we'll schedule something else.
Certainly.
All right, with that, I say, the meeting is over.
So years ago, my wife gave me a
Yeah.
Oh, it's
they
good.
put in Braille.
That's right.
The next year they put in Braille.
Where
Third
is
year
this
they
in
put in
person?
Braille. We use the scheduler.
I know years ago.
But it's hard.
Especially when you're gone a while and